Hello, welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, thanks for tuning back in. It's good to see you again. And if this is your first time here, then welcome. My name is Jamie, and I make different recipes, different dishes, whatever I feel like making up on the fly. Maybe some recipes that I'm trying to remember, or recipes that I want to try to modify in some way. I try to get all the dishes between 30 minutes and an hour to complete, because let's face it, we live in a busy world and people just don't have the time to put, forth hours into a dish. So, I like to make cooking fun. If you screw up and you make a mistake, don't get upset, laugh it off. Just have fun with it. I mean, this is about working with the stuff that you have in your cupboards, in your fridge, in your freezer, like everyday stuff that you normally would have. You don't have to go out and buy anything special. If I use something that you don't have, skip it. No big deal. And if there's something that you want to try that I mention, go to the store and buy it and we'll try it out together. So, thanks for joining me again. On this one, we are going to make another pasta dish. Now, it is very odd for me to make pastas because I am not a pasta person, and yet I tend to make a lot of pasta dishes. The reason for this is because they're so versatile. You can do so much with pasta. You can make it in so many different ways, and it's typically inexpensive, depending on the ingredients you add to it. But, a box of spaghetti or linguini or something like that's usually like $1. It's very cheap. And then the sauces depend. I'm not a big fan of like a red sauce, like a tomato sauce, but then again, I have ARD, so of course I wouldn't be. Causes me issues. But, I'm really big on garlic. So if you watch my other videos, you already know this. I love garlic and I love pepperoni. Those are my two loves in life, garlic and pepperoni. So, I do a lot of butter garlic dishes with pasta, and it's actually a perfect dish to experiment with garlic if you're not familiar with working with garlic. So today we're going to try, okay, this was my idea, this is my imagination here. So I'm going to try, I think, a linguine. Last time I did an angel hair pasta, I think. And I said I had the same amount of angel hair pasta as I did linguinis. And then so I used the angel hair pasta. So this time we're going to use the linguine. Use some of that up. And then I think I'm going to do a butter garlic sauce again. And then, of course, I like to pair pasta with chicken. A lot of people use ground beef. But I like chicken. I think chicken flavors well with a pasta. So what I'm going to do is the butter garlic sauce that I mix up, I'm going to actually baste my chicken in it. And I'm going to bake it in the oven. I'm also thinking we're going to try some butter garlic tomato slices. We're going to sear with some bacon. I don't know. Let's see how this all plays together. My head's got this imagination thing going on here. And we're just going to experiment today. And we're going to see if this turns out or if it's a complete flop. I don't know. But stay with me and we'll figure this out, okay? Okay. So I just got some prepping done, and we're going to try to do a whole bunch all at the same time, just so that everything is done at the same time, and we don't have to worry about things that are getting cooled off while we're busy with something else. So the first thing I did, I took a cookie sheet and I lined it with foil, and then I sprayed it with a non-stick cooking spray. Now I am going to use the frozen chicken breast tenderloins. I thawed these out overnight in the fridge, as is recommended. And basically, all I'm going to do with these are what they look like. I've got about a half a dozen here. All I'm going to do with these is I'm going to wash them. Just do a quick rinse under the faucet. Then I'm going to take some paper towels and I'm going to pat them dry. And then I'm going to lay them in this pan. Okay, so I'll be right back after I wash these. Alright, so I got these rinsed off, and all I'm doing is patting them dry. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos with chicken, you know I am extremely picky when it comes to my chickens. So, I pretty much dissect everything before I use it. Key point, see this loose skin here? Definitely, I'm going to trim that off. For any of the pieces of chicken that has this loose skin, I'll be trimming all the loose skin off of it. And then, at this point, I don't know if I have any comments on it, but for my last one, this weight thing. I've asked this before. Don't know what it is. Don't know if it's a vein. Don't know if it's just a piece of cartridge. I have no idea what it is. I don't want to eat it. So, what I do is I take my knife down alongside of it. It's very hard. Almost like rubber, actually. And then, yeah, if I can get a hold of it, if you just scrape your knife down the side of it, it's almost like you're shaving it. So you're like shaving the meat off of that white, whatever it is. But you want to be careful that you're not ripping your piece of chicken in two, because we want these to be whole. Well, for now. We'll get to that step in a little bit. So I'm just shaving this off. Just taking a knife right down along the side of that. Get both sides of it so you're not losing any of the meat. And again, this is personal preference. If whatever that thing is doesn't bother you, then leave it there. I'm just incredibly picky. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with either way. So, in the end, I get that. And I pull it out and I toss it in the garbage. Now, I have my tenderloin, but it's split down the middle. But you can see up here, it's still together, so it's still a whole piece. So, I'm going to work on all of these. I'm going to remove that loose skin. I'm going to remove that white, whatever it's called. And then we'll get busy and back to our cooking, okay? Alright, so I got my chicken all trimmed up. I got the skins off of it. Those are white, whatever they are, taken out of them because I don't like those. So, our next step is I'm going to preheat my oven to 375. Get that started. And then we're going to take, basically, is this a pound? Yeah. So, I got a pound of margarine. You can use butter, whatever. So this is what we're going to make our butter garlic sauce out of. But we are going to use this sauce on a lot of different things. So we need a lot of it. So all I'm going to do here. Now you can melt this on your stove, however you like to do things. But I am going to cheat. And I'm going to microwave it. Because that's the quickest method for me. So all I'm going to do is put these, there's 4 sticks to a pound. Not sure about butter. I don't use it, so whatever a pound of butter comes in, I don't know. You could also use, let's see, half a cup. So this would be, if you're using a margarine spread, it would be 2 cups. 2 cups of it. That's number 3. And last but not least, number 4. So what I'm going to do is throw these in the microwave for about a minute. And then I'm going to stir it. And then don't want that leaking out. And then after that, we're just going to cook it for 30 seconds on high and keep stirring it until it's completely melted. So that's right here by the camera. So you're going to hear my microwave. Alright, minute going. Now, the next thing we're going to do is our chicken that we just cleaned up. We're going to cut these in half. That's it. Just cut them in half like that. Now, if when you cut, the poor part is where that split is, you'll end up with two skinny pieces. Try to keep them together to count as one piece. Oh, and I should have said ahead of time, this is going to make about 6 servings. Again, it depends on your serving sizes. If you have a very large serving size, it might not get you that far. And an average serving size would be, what, maybe a cup? About a cup. So, hopefully we end up with like 6 cups or so. Alright, let me wash up. And we're going to check our margarine, see how it's doing. Nowhere near. Alright, let's just go another minute then, since we're nowhere near where we need to be. Okay. In other news, so I have got my pound of bacon. Okay? Now, I think I've done another, oh yeah, my breakfast video. Okay, so when I did my omelet, I probably told you what I like to do is cut my bacon in half. Because for me, it makes it easier for cooking then. So, now we are only going to use about maybe 8 slices or so of these. So it's up to you if you only want to fry up a few slices, or what I do is I fry up the entire pack and then I bag it in a freezer bag. Throw it in my freezer, and then whenever I need some pre-cooked bacon, it's already in there ready to go. I just have to warm it up. So I'm actually going to make the entire pound now. I know some people have done, I've heard about people doing these on a baking sheet in the oven. I haven't actually tried that. So if you have and you prefer that, go for it. At this point, it's just about getting that bacon cooked. You don't want it extra crispy though. So we're just going to look for a light brownness, a light doneness on it. Okay, so I got 2 minutes. I'm starting to melt here. I still got some big chunks in here. So we're going to throw that back in, and we're just going to start doing 30 seconds at a time, and then stirring it up to help break it up. And then I'm going to start layering my pepperoni in a frying pan. Now I have done, did I say pepperoni? Sorry, my bacon. My bacon's going in the frying pan. See, I got pepperoni on my mind. Told you I love garlic and pepperoni. Alright, my bacon. Now I have to make these in an air fryer. But it makes such a mess in my air fryer that I never redid it again in the air fryer. So, I'm just going to use a frying pan. However you want to do it is fine. Just cook it up. Also, I do know you can buy the pre-cooked bacon. Now, I think it's a little bit pricey because you don't get a whole lot of slices. But, I mean, hey, if you can afford to do that, better for you. So, you can always use the pre-cooked bacon too, and we'll just warm it up at the end. Alright, I think another 30 seconds and this should be pretty well melted together. Pardon me for all those close-ups. I'm sure you don't want to see all the flaws in my face. Alright, so, get my bacon cooking here. And bacon, especially if you're doing a frying pan, bacon splatters a lot. So you're going to want to keep your heat low. Basically, the key for bacon is low and slow. And you can cover it with a lid to help reduce that splatter as well. Okay, we're going to set our chicken aside for now. And our cookie sheet. Okay. And then, hopefully, this is done. Okay, there's a few small chunks in there, but I think that the margarine is hot enough that it's going to melt as it sits. At least I'm hoping so. Alright. So we got our bacon going. I'm going to put on a pot of water to boil. And I'm just going to add about a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to turn that on medium-high, getting it started to boil. And clean up my mess. Alright, so. Lost my train of thought. Okay, so this is our butter sauce. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start adding our seasonings to this. Salt is roughly a teaspoon. Again, I say this in all my videos. If you have health concerns, if you have like heart condition, high blood pressure, you know, watching your sodium intake, whatever, or your carbs, the whole 9 yards, or you can't have like garlic or something like that, please skip those ingredients. Just because I use them doesn't mean you have to use them. Okay, so be health conscious whenever you're following my videos, please. Alright, so I'm going to use about a teaspoon of salt. And then about, I'd say, 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. Not a whole lot of pepper at this point. Now, these are my standard dry ingredients. If you've watched my videos before, you're already familiar with them. I'm going to use about 1/2 of a teaspoon of the dried onion powder. Again, 1/2 a teaspoon of the dried garlic powder. I would say about a teaspoon of oregano. And the same for the parsley flakes, about a teaspoon. I always like to have that little pop of green in there to give it some color. Alright, then, I'm about empty, but we're going to do, let's see. Let's do 1/2 a teaspoon of minced dried garlic. And then another 1/2 a teaspoon of the minced dried onion. Alright, now this is my minced garlic and extra virgin olive oil. Love this stuff. I use it in a lot of stuff. And unfortunately, this one is running low, but we're going to want a good heaping teaspoon of this. Because the key to this dish is buttered garlic. So we need that garlic flavor now. And yeah, garlic is such a beautiful smell in my opinion. I just love the smell of garlic. Okay. So there's a good heaping teaspoon. Alright. And I am just going to whisk this all together. And you might have heard the beep. That means my oven is preheated. So, it's time to get our cookie sheet back here. Let me get a brush. Someone to organize that drawer for me. So, we get our chicken. And basically, alright, so we are going to take a little bowl and we're going to dump some of our butter mixture into it. Not a whole lot. Set the rest aside. We're going to use that later. And then we're going to start taking our chicken. And we're going to brush both sides of it with the sauce and lay it on our cookie sheet. Don't be afraid to be very generous with this sauce. It's going to help with the flavor. So make sure you coat the entire piece of chicken. In fact, you could probably just, if your bowl is big enough, just throw it in the bowl and Give it a little bit of a bath in it, and then put it back here on your tray. Okay, and then after you get this all lined up, your oven should already be preheated to 375. And then we're going to throw these in the oven for, probably about half an hour or so. We'll temp it in about 30 minutes. We want a good temp of 165 on it. And I have several different thermometers that I like to use. One of them you just stick in your meat. And there's a wire that hangs out the door there, and you just set your temperature and it'll just beep whenever it's ready and you can be done with it. The other one is an instant read. I personally prefer the instant read. And then I just come out and check it here and there until I get to whatever temp I need to be at. Okay, so for that. Now, keep hold of your butter garlic sauce. In fact, I might add a little bit more of this because 2 different times during our cooking, we are actually going to rebaste these, okay? So for now, I'm going to throw this in the oven. It's already preheated to 375. And then I'm going to clean up, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm getting ready to flip my bacon over here. And my water is steaming, but it's not boiling yet, so it needs a few more minutes. So, now we're going to get on to, I forgot to mention, when I put my chicken in the oven, I use the middle oven rack. So, we're going to set a timer for 10 minutes. So, we're going to come back and check that in 10 minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to finish cooking our bacon, get our water boiling, and then I'm going to grab a few tomatoes, and I'll show you what we're going to do with those. Alright, I'm just going to pull some of this bacon out of the pan. I want to show you what it looks like. So not too crispy, but we also want to make sure it's cooked. So I'm going to add some more bacon to that pan and get it frying. And if your bacon starts like spitting and sputtering and grease flying everywhere, then your heat is too high. Turn it down. This isn't a marathon. We don't need it done in, only a minute. In fact, this probably took closer to 10 minutes to get those first ones done. So, that's all right. We got time. We can do this. Okay. So now we got our tomatoes somewhere. There they are. What's left from the garden. And these are just washed and patted dry. All I'm going to do is slice the tops off, and then if there's any bad spots, these are, kind of late in the season to still be getting tomatoes. So mine's got a few bad spots on them. That's alright. That's what they're nice for, right? We can cut them off. So basically what we're going to do here, we're going to slice these in a kind of thick slices. I would say at least a ½ inch slice. So something about like that. We want these nice and thick. And then we're going to want, I would estimate 8 to 12 slices. So however many tomatoes, whatever type of tomato you're using, and however many slices you get out of each one, I'm not sure. Like this one, I only got 2 slices out of it. That was a beef steak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, that half of that has to go. Okay, I'll grab another one. You wash it real quick and pat it dry. Okay. All right. 9, 10, close enough. Close enough, right? Okay. Eight minus 10. Hey, 8 to 12, 10's right in the middle, works for me, right? Okay. Now, what we're going to do here, we need to get a frying pan out. I'm going to set my plate of bacon over here till that batch is done. And again, our water is not quite boiling yet, but that's all right because we're making linguini. It's only going to take about 10 minutes once the water is boiled. And we've got all this other stuff to do too. So, you know what? We're going to make a side. I saw that earlier. Wasn't sure if I was going to use it, but I'm going to use it. So this is just a can of mixed vegetables. That's it. Now, anyone who knows me knows I eat mixed vegetables. Don't like carrots. Not a big fan of corn. But I do like peas and potatoes. So that's what we're going to use. Wow. And this can is full of carrots. That's a lot of carrots and I don't like carrots. Alright. And then we're going to take some of our butter garlic sauce. We're just going to pour this. Now, I did drain the water from that mixed vegetables. Again, you can use something else if you want to use corn or peas or green beans, whatever. Carrots would even work. Okay, so I stirred in some butter garlic sauce. And I am going to throw this in the oven on the top shelf. And let that cook there with my chicken. Okay. Now, we need another brush. And another dish that we're going to pour just a little bit, not very much, of our butter garlic sauce into. Okay. And I'm on the wrong side for my stove. Let me get switched around here. Well, at least you know I keep these videos real, right? When I screw up, you're going to know it. Okay. Fourth. Okay. Gotta give my bacon a quick flip here so it don't burn. And yes, I know I'm not following my own rule about the fork. Metal. Do not use metal utensils. So it's what's here. Okay, so tomatoes. I'm going to do a light spray of cooking spray on this pan. And then I'm going to turn the heat on. We want this pretty quick, so I'm going to turn that on probably high. We want this hot. All we're going to do here is a very quick sear. Let me get a plate for those. And maybe some tongs. Okay. So all we're going to do with this butter garlic sauce that we poured into this bowl, we are going to bathe both sides of the tomato, just like we did the chicken. We're going to bathe both sides of it. We're going to put it in this pan. It's not quite hot enough. We'll work with it. Because we want these to be browned, but we don't want them cooked where they're mushy. These are going to complement our dish, not overpower our dish. All right. A couple more to go. And I think they're all going to fit in the same pan. That's nice. I wasn't too sure on that. Alright, just for good measure, I'm going to brush the tops all, just give them that extra flavor. All right, wash up real quick. I do not have the best kitchen layout for doing these videos. My microwave's to the side of the camera, my sink's behind the camera. And if I try to go this way, facing in, then you can't see the stove. So it's all kinds of messed up. But you know what? For now, we're going to work with it. Maybe someday I'll be rich and famous and I can afford a new kitchen. Doubtful, but you never know. Alright, we're going to pull some more bacon out. Looking good. Oh my gosh. I say it all the time. We need smell-o-vision. Seriously, you need to smell these aromas between the bacon and the garlic. It smells amazing in here. Simply amazing. Alright, and it looks like my water has just started boiling. So I am going to use about a half a pack of linguini. Yeah, this is just shy of a half, but I'll open that other box and add just a little bit more. But what I like to do, and you don't have to do this, again, personal preference, I just flatten up my ends over the pan, snap them in half. Now, a lot of people like that long so they can twist it. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't want short ones. I don't want long ones. Just kind of in between there. It works for me. Alright. Just a hair more. I like my leftovers, and I say this about a lot of my meals. This freezes well. You can pack this up and freeze it and reheat it at a later date, and it works very well. If it gets a little bit dry, just make some more of the butter garlic sauce. Make like half of it. You don't have to make another full pound of butter or margarine. Alright. Okay, get all the linguine in there. I say it all the time, if you don't have one of those pasta spoons, invest in one. Great for making sure your pasta is not sticking together. Okay, I'm going to move this out of my way. And it's been about 10 minutes. So we are going to bathe our chicken again. So let me pull that pan out. Now, a lot of times when you're doing chicken, you get a lot of excess water that comes out of the chicken when you start to cook it too. So what I like to do, this is water mixed with our butter garlic sauce. What I like to do is just drain it off in a container or the garbage, whatever. Just drain off some of that excess because we don't want this watered down. Okay, perfect. And then all I'm going to do is flip each piece of chicken over. I did have some little leftover pieces that hanging out in the bottom of the bag that I just threw in. They weren't really whole pieces, but it'll work. We'll make use of them, right? Alright, after we got those flipped, the butter that we reserved earlier, they want my spoons. Alright, let's just grab another one. The one that we reserved earlier from our, that we used for our chicken. All we're going to do is just spoon a little bit more of the butter garlic sauce on top of these. We're going to throw them back in on the middle oven rack for another 10 minutes. And then hopefully we have enough sauce to do one more turn on these. Okay. And I always like to rotate my pans. I've told you this many times because I have a very old oven. So we need another 10 more minutes on the timer. There we go. Our tomatoes are starting to sound good. Grab our phone. Oh, look at that sear. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, that is nice. Nice char on that. Very nice. That one's being a butter and don't want to flip. There we go. And that one fell apart. Unfortunately, it was small. And it fell apart. It's not much I can do with that one. This is why I always say to make extra, just in case. Alright, we're going to char the other side now. Make sure you keep an eye on your bacon. Flip it when it needs to be. We don't want to overcook it. We don't want it too crispy. I am curious how this is all going to turn out, really. Tomato, bacon, butter, garlic, I mean, chicken, pasta, who knows? Make sure you stir your pasta every so often, just so your noodles don't stick together. Nobody wants their noodles sticking together. Okay, we're going to get rid of our tomato one. And if you ask why I do this, it's all about food contamination. You don't want to contaminate your veggies with the butter that you used on raw chicken. So it costs us only like 79 cents for that box of margarine. I am not worried about throwing some of it out. Okay. That's right, I was doing bacon. See? Keeping it real. Even I forget what I'm doing sometimes. Alright. Okay, I got a plate here for my tomatoes, and I want to show you this beautiful seal on these. Look how beautiful those are looking. Beautiful, right? That one needs split. So does that one. Alright. So, I'm going to finish cooking up this bacon. And then, if you've seen my other videos, you know I do not like al dente pasta. If you do, that's fine. Go ahead and cook it al dente. I like mine a little bit better. I don't like a hard pasta. I like mine not mushy, but a little bit tender. So I'm going to cook this pasta, my linguini, up until it's just tender. I'm going to finish my bacon. I'm going to pull out my seared tomatoes in and clean all this up. And by then it should be time to baste our chicken again. So stick with me. I'll be right back. Okay, my timer just went off, so we are going to pull the chicken out. Do what I hope to be a final basting of it. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. Okay, once again, we're just going to flip every single piece over. And then out of our reserved butter garlic sauce that we still have left, we're just going to brush these again. What we're trying to do is just infuse that flavor right into the chicken. So who invented smell-o-vision yet? That smells good. Garlic and bacon. Who would have imagined? But the smells are great. Okay, at this point, some of your chicken's probably starting to brown, and that's perfect. A light brown is just fine on that. We don't want to get too dark, just a light brown. And again, just a little bit of our butter garlic on top. At this point, you don't need to soak it. We're just doing a light baste across the top. Alright, and you can toss whatever's left of that so you don't contaminate anything. Rotate your pan. Well, for my old oven, rotate my pan. Back in the middle oven rack. Now at this point, we're also going to want to take out our veggie. And just give that a quick stir. Remember, this is on the top rack. Give it a quick stir with that butter garlic sauce. And then we're going to put that back in too. Alright, set our timer for 10 minutes. Alright, and then at that time we're going to temp our chicken and see where we're at. Okay, be right back. Alright, so my linguini is just past al dente. That's the way I like it. Again, this is personal preference. If you like al dente or firmer noodle, go for it. If you like yours kind of mushy, go for it. Doesn't matter. Just have fun with this. So you make your pasta however you want. I also want to put, it's kind of late in the video for this, but if you do to use something different like a spaghetti or an angel hair pasta, this goes really well with those too. So what I'm going to do is drain my pasta and dump it into a dish, and then I'll be right back to show you how we're going to mix all this stuff together, okay? Be right back. Okay, so I got the last of my bacon here frying up. I got my tomatoes. Now, as you can see, the juice is draining. That's fine. That's what we want. But you get that nice char on those. Perfect. We're going to set those aside for now, along with the rest of our bacon. Okay, we just pulled our pasta off. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our leftover butter garlic sauce, and we're going to take about a cup of it, and we're going to reserve that for later. Okay? What's left, we're going to dump in with this pasta. Now, if you run short on this or this seems too dry, please just make up some more. Butter, margarine, that kind of stuff is very inexpensive. Now, as you can see on mine, let me try to pull this back. I got the wrong spoon for one thing. Okay. Here we go. Let's try my pasta spoon. Okay. When you pull this back, I still have a lot of that butter garlic juice in there. So that's perfect. We're not going to be too dry. Okay? Then, let me get some of my bacon out of here. Yummy bacon. I love the bacon. Smells amazing. Alright, I got a few more pieces in this pan waiting to just about done. Okay, so now I want to take some, these are freeze-dried chives. They go very well with garlic dish or even a chicken dish. And basically, I'm going to take about a tablespoon and I'm going to sprinkle into that pasta. And then I'm going to toss that around. You know what? I don't like it. Let's do another half a tablespoon. This is why it's on the fly. I start, change my mind, do something different. There we go. Got that nice green color in there. Okay, looking yummy, right? Okay, so our pasta's good. We're going to set that aside. Our bacon is done. Let's turn that off. What do we got for our chicken? 1.5 minutes. Okay, so let me pull that bacon out. And now I'll list below, I'll write down the ingredients for that butter sauce so that if you need to make extra, I'll even do the half one to make a half a batch so that you can have it. All right. So, I'll see you in a minute. We'll get these all pulled out and ready to go. In the meantime, let me get cleaned up and I'll be right back. Okay, so my timer just went off. I'm going to pull this chicken out. We're going to give it a good temp. See what we have. Look how it's starting to brown up. Isn't that beautiful? Alright, then I have an instant read thermometer. Again, if you're using the kind that you just stick in and let it go, we're looking for a temperature of 165. So I'm just going to temp a few pieces. Okay, 208. I think we're good. Let me try one of the thicker ones. No, we're good. 208. Okay, so I might have done half an hour, might have been a little too much. But you know what? It's got this nice brown on it. I'm not going to squabble. It does not feel hard. It does not feel like too crispy or anything. It looks perfect. So, wherever, oh, there it is. Let me set this aside. And then I'm going to pull out the vegetables that we have the butter garlic sauce in. And those were just basically warming up. So it's been a half an hour. They're all bubbly. Looks good. Maybe give them a quick stir. Looking beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Perfect. Okay. Now, I think we are ready to start throwing this all together. Okay. So let me grab a plate and we'll get started. All right. I'm just flipping the chicken over. And boy, did it brown up nicely. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. That is precisely what we were looking for. There's that little bit of a light golden brown on that. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So, let's get a plate. Okay, our first step is we're going to add, make sure you stir this up so it has the butter garlic sauce all over it. Look, you know, tasting amazing. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of pasta here. Okay. Then on top of that, we are going to take probably 1 or 2 pieces of chicken. It depends on how big your spoonful was. So you basically want to cover the top with your chicken. Like so. Okay, and then, oh, this is all behind me here. Get everything where it belongs. We are going to grab one of those charred tomato slices and stick right on top of that chicken. Doesn't that look amazing? And then let's grab a piece of bacon. Is it going to sit there? Probably not. Okay, I'm just going to break this in two. Lay that over the chicken. No, over the tomato. Look how beautiful that is. Absolutely beautiful. And then that reserved butter garlic sauce. All we're going to do is sprinkle just a little bit over this entire thing. That's it. Just like that. And then we'll serve with our side of our veggies. And you know what could go good with this? It might take me a couple extra minutes, but if you watch my other videos, you know I am a sucker for stovetop stuffing, chicken flavored stuffing. So I can make that real quick in the microwave, add that to the dish, and this will be a perfect meal. So hang on, I'll be right back. All right, so I got my chicken flavored stovetop stuffing all done. And if you watch my other videos, you know I like to use an ice cream scooper whenever I do stuffing, or mashed potatoes for that matter, because I like that cute little mound it makes. So, here we go. Chicken linguine with butter garlic sauce. Mixed veggies with butter garlic sauce. And a side of chicken flavored stuffing. How did I do? Try it out. If you like this video or you like this recipe, please remember to hit that like button. Hit subscribe so you get notified of any future videos that I have. Don't forget to check out all my other ones too. And let me know what you think. Until next time, have a great day.